Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Wednesday, November 4th, 2020. Good evening. Hope you had a wonderful day and day to watch all the election results continue to come in. And what a night last night, as well as election. Well, it'll be over eventually, and as all the counting continues here across the U.S. For the remaining absentee ballots, record amounts. And we're going to talk about that in the show today. We'll look at that in the headlines as we roll into Talking Fitchburg today. And we've got other stuff happening today. We'll talk with and replay our piece with Hy-Vee, Andrea Miller. She'll show us some good breakfast ideas. Want to make sure if you didn't see that, you have some good breakfast ideas. And then we'll check in with Bill Balke on your Fitchburg road construction update as projects continue to wind down. And we'll probably look at next week being the last road construction update for this year. So, and then we'll bring it back next year. But until then, we're done. We're done with construction, okay? Let's get into the headlines here, and we do start with the election results, the unofficial election results posted up on the city's website. You can check these out as well, but we wanted to go through them one more time in case you didn't have a chance to see those yet and see how Fitchburg fared out here in the election. So if we start with the presidential election, Andrew's got this up for you. Joe Biden taking the win here in the city of Fitchburg at a 13,008 votes. Donald Trump coming in with 3,229. And then you can see the different wards as well as far as the voting goes. So District 1, 2, 3, 4 happening there and with the different wards. So it breaks it down for you on that front with a total of 16,562 votes coming in there for the presidential race. As we move down into the congressional, Mark Pohan, Democrat, taking a win there at 12,605 votes. Legislative and state senator, district number 16, looks like a Democrat, is that Sargent was on there? It's I believe it's Melissa. And that was 10,349 there for their senator in District 16. Moving further down here then, we've got representative to the Assembly, District 47. And it looks like a Democrat, Jimmy Anderson, at 10,275 votes there for going on to win there. Representative to the Assembly in District 60, Sandy Pope, at 1,000, District 80, sorry, thank you. District 80, that's 1,968 votes there, only in a couple of wards. So those numbers being a little bit small there. As far as the county goes, district attorney, only one person on the ballot at 13,240 votes. For that, again, we're looking at the Fitchburg results here, city of Fitchburg. County clerk, Scott was the only person in the on the ballot at 13,327 votes. As founders county treasurer, Adam also running unopposed at 13,235 votes. And then Register of Deeds, looks like Christie unopposed at 13,239 votes. There was a couple of referendums for the city or the Madison Metropolitan School District in a couple of wards here in Fitchburg. And those played out with a yes or no, and a yes vote on the referendum question number 1 at 5,304 votes in for that one. On question number 2, also a yes vote at 5,655 votes coming in there for the 2 referendum questions. And I believe overall in Dane County, or in the Madison School District, that those both did pass. As far as looking at then the statistics here, and you came out and voted in record numbers, especially when we look at the absentee voters. What an incredible number, 13,009. 16,588 votes. That's together with in-person voting and absentee together. And then pre-registered by the third Wednesday prior to the election was 18,202. which is just an incredible number. So definitely awesome to see everybody register for voting there. Number of registrations in the clerk's office after the 3rd was 334. Number of registers at the poll, 754 of you registered at the polls. And as far as percentages turnout, if you're in district number 4, you turned out to vote at an 89.8%. District number 1 at 81.9, district 2 88.6, and district 3 81.8. And said district 4, you really came out 89.8, and 86%. That's a turnout for the city, which again is just an incredible number when you really think about elections. So either way, glad everybody got out and voted, and definitely glad for all of the help that the clerk's department has done through all this year with the COVID-19 and trying to keep everybody safe at the polls, the workers, the election inspectors. I want to thank them as well for all their help, and anybody who volunteered to help out our election officials. Thank you so very much. Definitely makes things a lot easier as we go through this election. All right, in other news for the day, we wanted to talk to you about COVID symptoms versus some other differences like the flu or different types of cold. So this kind of is a great chart to break that down for you. So signs and symptoms of a cold in the incubation time. So you got the cold, the flu, and COVID-19. So anywhere from 2 to 14 days for COVID-19. The flu actually is a 1 in 4. So if you're exposed to it 1 to 4 days, you might see some of that develop and then start up. As far as symptoms onset, you see gradually, abrupt, and again gradually on the COVID-19. And like you said, these symptoms are all kind of, as you can see, all kind of falling similarly. So seeing when the onset of these do come on, kind of giving you a good understanding. But some of those ones that still stand out that COVID-19 has versus the cold and the flu, the loss of taste or smell is a big one. I've heard that one big time, and that stands out here on there. And you can see in other categories like stuffy nose, common in a cold, flu, rare, COVID-19, rare. So it's very interesting how some of these come out, but good to get a reminder on that as we work through what is normally our cold and flu season here coming up. All right, help us fill the area food pantry shelves. Yeah, Pelletieri working on a piece here, and this is kind of cool. The holiday season is upon us, and we are gearing up for our annual Thanksgiving back program to collect donations for local food pantries. Last year, we raised just over $5,100 from 430 pounds of non-perishable food items. That's over 15,657 meals provided for those in need. Every $1 raised provided 3 meals for those in need. And if you are interested in donating this year to that, City of Fitchburg is one of the sites that you can donate to. So again, thank you for this year's partner, City of Fitchburg, one of the many municipalities that are partnering up this year. So if you can help out in any way, you can check in with Pelletieri. Remember, we share the links to everything. I have the link to the page where you can make the donation. And speaking of donations, really quick, we've got the Bike for Kids fundraiser also happening this weekend, donating gentle used bikes or even bikes that need help. They can take parts for them and use them to assemble. One of the collection sites this weekend is the Thirsty Goat. Stop on by between 12 and 3 p.m. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, replaying one of our Hy-Vee segments as we check in with our dietitian. She's going to give you some great breakfast ideas. That's next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like I really do feel complete now.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Join me today from Hy-Vee. It's Andrea Miller, our favorite and only dietitian here on Talking Fitchburg. So it does make her our favorite. Welcome back to the show, Andrea. How you doing today?
Thank you. I'm doing good.
Glad to hear. And today you're talking about my favorite subject, breakfast. The best meal, although, I bet you'll debunk this today, but is it the most important meal of the day? Is it the biggest and best, meal by far? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't necessarily say it needs to be the biggest, but it's certainly relative, whoever's talking, I suppose, can say if it's the best. But the main focus, or one of the reasons why it's such a highlighted meal, is because we fast overnight. So we hear a lot about fasting these days, but not eating while we're sleeping can kind of be considered the original fast. So we want to have that nice break in the evening, about 10, maybe even up to 12 hours, where we don't have any food coming in. It helps our digestive system relax. It gives everything a break, lets our metabolism kind of settle down. And then so our food in the morning is literally considered then breaking the fast. So that's where the importance of breakfast lies.
And when we're looking at this, I've heard, have you heard of the fasting, even fasting up to noon? So your first meal is really later in the late morning, and then you chow, 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 and then sharp cutoff at night? Yeah,
that's, there's some pros and cons to different types of fasting, but really as far as what's researched as far as how our metabolism works, our metabolism does the best during the waking hours, eating about every 3 to 5 hours. And so trying to avoid extremes. So technically, a fast is defined as anything more than 2 hours, believe it or not. And so if we do every 3 to 5, we're getting a little bit of a mini fast throughout the day. And what that does is it allows our body to dip into our fat stores and use some of that energy versus continuing to just keep piling it on during the day, essentially.
Yeah, and like you said, every diet's got its pros and cons, certainly. Bringing it back into breakfast time, creating a meal around the family when you're not in that rush and you're able to individualize these menus. Where do you start on doing that?
Yeah, so I have some thoughts here and some ideas to share on coming up with a base breakfast. So making a base breakfast for everybody to kind of start with. And then each person can use different toppings, whether it be apples this season, bananas, or berries, nuts, seeds, whatever you're interested in. And you can individualize your own. So we have kind of 3 examples where you can do those kinds of toppings. And then we also have a breakfast sandwich example where each person can kind of build their own breakfast sandwich.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the breakfast sandwiches. So I don't know how you knew that breakfast sandwiches was going to be the thing, but you got a thumbs up for me over here. Let's dive into some of these recipes. Is this first one chai pudding?
Yeah, so that's chia seed pudding. So,
Chia. Oh man.
So there's a good chance people have a bag of chia seed because they heard somewhere that they're good and now they don't really know necessarily what to do with them. So as a side, chia seeds are good for omega-3s and they're a good protein and healthy fat source in the morning. So that's the nutritional aspect of it. As far as how they work, they kind of swell up when they are put in liquid. So this chia seed pudding is just a simple example of equal parts yogurt and milk. I typically use a plant-based milk beverage to offset, the dairy-based yogurt to kind of get a little balance, but you can use whatever milk you want. And then you add the chia seeds to it, stir it. And then when it sits in the refrigerator, it only needs about 4 hours, but overnight it kind of swells. And so you get this nice consistency of almost like a pudding. And then you can eat it plain, certainly, but you can add all kinds of things to it if you'd like, granola, berries, fresh banana, whatever appeals to you.
Yeah, it sounds like a really filling,
Mm-hmm.
something filling in the morning, and something that you could probably even set like cups aside of it if you wanted
Right.
to put it to go if you're in a rush. We're not in a
Sure.
rush anymore with COVID, not necessarily, but
Mm-hmm.
certainly what a great idea there.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard of chia seed whatsoever, so
Oh,
I'm gonna have to look this up in the
okay.
store the next time I'm there. So.
Okay.
I
I'll help you
I
find
can't.
them.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably need that because I don't know where to look. Next one, I do have everything on hand to do this, and looking forward to trying this one. Let's talk about the pressure cooker steel cut oats.
Yes. So steel cut oats, interestingly enough, there really isn't a nutritional difference between the cut of an oat, so old fashioned or steel cut. It's just cut differently. Steel cut oats are really nice and hearty, and they kind of give a different texture than old fashioned oats do. So they're not as gummy per se as old fashioned oats. So sometimes when people don't care for that hot oatmeal in the morning, it's usually because of the texture. So let me just throw that out there. Steel cut oats have a nice, pleasing texture. And then they cook up well in a pressure cooker because they're nice and hearty. And so it's, again, a matter of water, your choice of milk, and the grain. And then if you have a porridge setting on your pressure cooker, that's ideal to use that. Otherwise, you can do it for the 8 minutes. And then you just want to be careful you don't overfill your pressure cooker because that can cause it to kind of get too foamy and can cause some issues. So if you have a smaller pressure cooker, just cut this recipe in half. Do half of everything. So a half a cup oats, half a cup milk, and a cup of water rather than double, and it'll work out fine.
Yeah, and then as you said with the last one, the toppings on this one when it comes out, again, match it with your favorite topping, and
Right.
you've got a nice hearty meal. And this one is served up warm. Then is that right?
Yep, but it does heat up well. So all you do the next day is just add some milk to it and then put it in the microwave. I use a fork and break it up, and it heats up really nicely the next day, next few days actually.
Now that's the type of tips you can only get here on TF, right there.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's right.
All right, finally moving into my favorite one here today, although the pressure cooker one sounds pretty good. The baked eggs for sandwiches.
Yes.
Very interesting concept here, but you've got some great ideas here.
Yes. So take into consideration with this recipe, if you have a larger family, you can double this in a 9x13 pan, but I give the ingredients for an 8x8 pan. It makes about 9 squares of the egg bake. And so what you're essentially doing is you're using hash browns as a base. You don't need to cook them in advance. Hash browns or shredded potatoes as a base. Add your egg mixture on top and bake it. And then it'll be nice and solid, and then you can cut it into squares, and then each person can build their own sandwich. So if one person wants to use an English muffin, another one might have a biscuit or a bagel, or someone might not even want to put bread on it and then just put some sauteed veggies over it. That's great too. So those squares do heat up well in the microwave also. And then you can use it for several days in a row.
Yeah, that this one I'm so pumped to give it a shot because it's super easy, and then like you said, set it aside, and put your favorite stuff on. And if you are a meat lover and you're trying to I want to supplement the meat with something, but where do you start? Do you look at that Canadian bacon versus a regular cut? Thick cut, what do you recommend?
Sure. Canadian bacon is a nice choice simply because it's usually cut the perfect size. So there's really no fuss with it. You can just put that on top. The other nice option is if you wanted to add some meat is deli meat. If you have deli meat in your fridge, if you want to heat it up a little bit first in the microwave or in a skillet, that's great. But you could put that right on top as well if you want to add some meat to your sandwich also.
Yeah, that's a pretty smart idea. I was thinking some ham or turkey there, not a bad option.
Yeah.
All of these, again, probably good at reheating. Any tips on the reheat on that the egg bake there?
Yeah, good question. I usually like to add, and actually this is kind of with reheating anything, I just add a little bit of water. You add a little bit of water, just a little dribble It helps with the moisture when you rehydrate in the microwave or reheat in the microwave. And so it keeps the moisture so it's not so dry.
There you have it. 3 easy recipes here and get you picking up after that big fast overnight and getting going for the rest of the day. Andrea, thank you so much for sharing these with us and the tips. We really appreciate it. And if more people want to learn more about these or anything else you got going on out there, how can they get a hold of you?
Easiest way right now is to email directly at andreamiller@hy-vee.com. And I travel to 3 stores in the Madison area.
She's very busy, but if you give her an email, she'll get in contact with you.
Yes.
Andrea, thank you again for your time as always. Look forward to checking back in with you later this month.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, Andrea, you guys got to try this. Get on in here and try some of this food. It's really good stuff. And I'm feeling really bad that we weren't able to be in person today to smell all the aromas of this. But again, we'll check back in with her real soon. Take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Public Works Department, it's your director, Bill Balke. Bill, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
Doing well. Looking forward to talking about construction today.
Oh yeah, as we wrap up construction for the year. Although if you've been outside this week, you've enjoyed some nice temperatures, and I bet you that the construction workers are very happy, and so are you, as they can wrap up their projects better off when it's nice temps and good weather.
Right. Yeah, full speed ahead over on our construction projects as far as paving. We finished up Fish Hatchery Road on the main line, and we got to finish up a little bit of paving up by the Greenway Cross intersection this week and next. So I would say by the end of next week, we'll be pretty well wrapped up for all the paving.
That's awesome. And as far as what stays, will there be any lanes that stay closed or everything open up before we do shut down construction for the year?
We'll have everything opened up with 4 lanes of traffic in the bus lanes by winter. What we are going to have is some traffic situations where we have the traffic signals and the street lights to still install. So we'll have those as a temporary. And we're finishing up some of the median work that's up there. But other than that, within the next couple of weeks, mid-November, we're looking to have everything opened up to traffic.
And then looking ahead next year on that project, as they move, was this a 2-year project or 3-year project? And where does year 2 take us to?
This is a 2-year project. We stopped at Traceway Drive this year, and from next year we're going from Traceway Drive down to Mckee with the road expansion or the lane expansions down there. So yeah, I guess we're going to be starting up in the spring with that project and going forward with that. Yeah,
it seems like a lot longer distance to travel, Bill, for construction than it was here. With this first phase, was that a little bit more challenging because of the businesses and being close to the belt line and whatnot, or is it there's just construction?
No, this part was pretty challenging to get through. You mentioned all the high points. There's a lot of businesses there, a lot of access off of the highway. It just was a lot of challenges, a lot of utilities in that area. So next year, there's probably 60% of the length to do next year, but we'll get it done a lot quicker because we won't be having as many of those challenges.
Yeah, it's good information to know. I think if you were paying attention and watching what was happening this year, the construction ran as smooth as it could be, but there definitely was a lot of challenges on year one. And year two, again, we'll cruise right along. All right, let's close that project and move over to McKee Road, where we had 3 days of road closures for pavings. Give us an update.
Yeah, we had shut down the traffic up there on Friday, Saturday, and Monday to perform the surface paving and get the best product for the area. We had a number of detours set up. We appreciate everybody's patience to go around those areas while we got the project completed. But everything went smoothly, and everything was opened up, by the end of Monday. So we're moving on to the next phase. We're finishing up some landscaping in the area and some traffic signals and things like that. So that's projected to be completed by the end of next week as well.
Yeah, it looks looking really good, and thank you for everybody for your patience on those closures. We certainly appreciate it, and it sounds like all the detouring and stuff worked to the best that it could during that time. Any other updates on this project? Are we still do we still got barrels up, or are we wide open now?
There'll be some barrels up as we're working on the landscaping and the traffic signals and things like that, pavement marking. But we're planning on closing those down or taking those off by the end of next week. Fantastic.
Well, very excited for that. And when we check in with you next week, we'll throw some barrels or something. So, does that sound like a good fun thing to do there, Bill? So can you set me up with a barrel first off? I'm going to need one.
Yep, we can. You've heard of the cow pie toss. Maybe we could do the barrel toss.
Oh, geez. Andrew cut us off right now. All right. Finally, just checking in on the Lacey Road and Seminole Highway project. You were talking about some underground drilling there as they're working on was that a sewer lateral?
Yeah, we're installing a sewer main underneath the Seminole Highway along Lacey Road from the Badger State Trail to the new subdivision of Stoner Prairie First Edition. And there'll just be caution, that there's going to be construction traffic traveling through that intersection back and forth. So it's open to traffic. Just be aware that there's some construction in the area.
When does that project wrap up, Bill?
I couldn't tell you right now. I think it's probably going to be another couple of weeks.
Okay. Understand. All right. Any other projects to update us on?
Not right now. Sorry.
So, well, I don't know. That's good or bad. So, hey, we'll take it. All right, Bill. Well, we appreciate your time as always. Thanks for the update, and we'll check back in with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right. Thank you. Bill Balke, Public Works Director here, giving us an update on the construction. We'll take a quick break. More to come. Watching TF.
Touchdown! Oh, did you see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Hey, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
I'm gonna need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Gaining weight was easy. All I had to do was sit down and eat. Losing weight's a lot harder. I have to work at it every day. But with every step, I lower my risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease. And that makes every step, every choice, every day very much worth the effort.
Learn how you can help stop diabetes by losing weight, eating healthy, and staying active. Visit checkupamerica.org or call 1-800-DIABETES.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, wrapping up the show for the day. I want to thank Bill Balke for helping us out with the construction update, and of course, Andrea Miller with Hy-Vee. As we wrap up the day, remember you can stay connected with Fact TV through all of our great media outlets, including Apple TV, Roku, and so many more places. Have a great day, everybody. See you back here tomorrow.